You did it. Yes, you did. We did it. We're here.
I'm so proud of you all. Yeah. I'm proud of us too.
I'm proud of us too. That's exactly right.
Church, we're good.
We are week 7 of 7 in our 7 churches sermon series, walking through Revelation chapters 2 and 3, looking at these letters to these 7 churches. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. Personally, I've learned a lot that is going to be extremely helpful for the rest of my life. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, yeah. And what I think was what's so cool about not just these letters, but scripture in general, written 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, all of it, and still God uses it. It's alive. It's relevant for today. So where we're going to be looking at the church in Laodicea this week. We're looking at Revelation chapter 3, 14 through the end. So that's verse 14 through 22. Laodicea is a really interesting city. So we've kind of completed all the way around, that circle in this region. We're at the far southeast corner. What do we need to know about Laodicea as a community, even like probably geographically?
Sure. We will go into the geographics, but I do this thing where I like having like a title, like the Cliff Notes. So I'm going to tell you guys, Laodicea, the way it worked out in my mind is they were the self-reliant and the complacent church. Okay.
So
self-reliant and complacent.
Those two things don't seem to go together.
I know they don't, but you're going to see how the text actually takes us there. It's crazy. I love it. No coincidences, guys. Okay. So Laodicea, the culture there was wealthy and independent. There are a couple of reasons why. So their wealth, as you recall, Ephesus, those cities, their wealth was derived from like trade and like port, right? Imports, exports, right? Whatnot. Each city, Philadelphia had a way to make money. Laodicea, they derived their wealth from banking and textile industries, and they also had a strong medical presence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Banking,
textile industries, and a strong medical presence.
Medicine.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you, it's really interesting because these 3 things actually, again, what Jesus does is he uses things, pictures and ideas. So when he speaks to you, like you immediately understand what he's saying because you maybe of the area you were living in.
So one of the things that's true in Laodicea is this is one of the first places that you and I go to the pharmacy.
Right.
Uh-huh. And sometimes with the pharmacy, there's a symbol.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Sure. Yeah.
Like a P with an X on it. Right.
Yep.
And those are Greek words.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know
Greek
this.
letters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it also depicts like a compound, and that's what drugs are. They're combinations of things in pills.
Sure.
But this goes all the way back to Laodicea.
Okay.
Where they're trying to get an understanding of different compounds.
Right.
If I mix this and this, it's going to help you.
Do?
Like they made and they sold regionally salve for your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. This comes from Laodicea.
Right.
This compound.
Right.
We're mixing things together for the sake of your personal wellness.
Yes, for their eyes. Exactly. So medical presence. This area also, it was close to Philadelphia. All right. So same idea. They earthquakes affected them. On the fault line. So they are wealthy, banking, textile, medical presence, but they're also prone to earthquakes.
Yep.
So destruction and having to rebuild. Okay. So those 2 things are true.
Yep.
But because of their wealth, right? Rome had, again, they're part of the Roman Empire. Right. So in Philadelphia, for example, Rome had said, hey, Philadelphia, we'll help you out. Yep. And Philadelphia's like, awesome.
We'll take
all the
We'll
help.
take the federal support.
Yeah, so
we'll take the federal dollars.
Federal dollars plus even the citizens there, they didn't have to pay taxes for 5 years. Just all kinds of aid, right? Financial aid from the Roman Empire. Laodicea was so wealthy, they were like, nope, we're good. We're just going to rebuild on our own. I'm like, why would you do that? But anyways, no, they were self-reliant because they were wealthy and they were self-reliant. Okay. So you've got those 2 things going on with their culture. That's the good.
Yep.
So then I think about, well, what was bad? And the bad here was that Laodicea was in an area where the water source included these calcium deposits that induced vomiting. So not good. So like you could not drink the water in Laodicea. So what they had to do is they had to pipe in hot water from this place called Hierapolis.
Sure.
And
Like
about
6 miles to
95
the north.
degrees. Okay, sure.
There's hot springs that are coming down.
And those springs were useful in Hierapolis because they were 95 degrees. So they were useful up there, healing properties.
Hot water's useful, springs. Right?
Yes.
We take hot showers. It relaxes if you're in a hot tub. Right. Hot water's useful.
But by the time that water came down to Laodicea, it wasn't hot. It wasn't 95 degrees anymore. So then they also had to pipe in cold water from Colossae. Yep. Through their aqueduct system.
Either one's fine.
So again, same thing again. Well, for one thing, they were wealthy. Like not everybody had these systems. Exactly. So that's kind of cool that they had it.
Yeah.
So they had the ability to do that, to pipe it in.
We got hot water for this, and we got cold water for this. Cold water is useful for drinking, refreshing.
Yes. It's useful. Yep. The point is, it's useful. Yes. But by the time the cold water and the hot water arrived to Laodicea, it just was not useful.
Wasn't as hot, wasn't as cold.
It was lukewarm, tepid at best, like not useful for anything.
Sure.
So that's what was going on culturally.
Yeah.
In their everyday lives.
And it becomes a metaphor for the church.
Yes, it does. And we're going to unpack that, right?
We will. Yes. Yep. So let's get to that. Unpack some of these texts here. Let's jump to the text. Let's go 15 and 16 first. He goes, I know your deeds. And he goes, but you're neither cold nor hot. Now, this is one of the most misinterpreted.
Yes, it is.
Verses in all of the Bible, because we can kind of think cold or hot. Well, you're not
spiritually.
You need to be hot spiritually. No.
That's not what
it's not talking about spiritual fervor. We're talking about usefulness.
Yes.
Like, hey, cold water is useful for this. Hot water is useful for this. But he's saying, I know your deeds. You're not really doing anything that's helpful.
Yeah.
And that's where the connection is between this self-reliance. And where I'm at spiritually, right? The more self-reliant I become, honestly, we see this a lot in church today.
Yeah.
The better my life is, the more stable I really am. I know I should go to church, right? That's what we say. I know I should, but what's implied there is like, I don't really need to.
Yes.
Whether I go to church or not, doesn't increasingly, the more self-reliant I become,
the more it's about you. It's self.
You don't need Jesus. I just don't need it.
You don't need Jesus.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't notice as much when I don't have it.
Right.
Even.
That's the danger in it. Like have you noticed when things are bad, you're like your prayer life increases, but when things are good.
But let's not miss that. You're exactly right. Let's not miss the point, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
This is what I'm saying is
fairness of works.
Self-reliance. It's right there in that term. You're focusing on yourself.
Yes.
The more self-focused you are, the less useful you are to what Jesus has for you. See, we can build lives that are great, that mean nothing.
Did you see how I just did that, though? Like, even just like, I was one of those people that misinterpreted this text.
Yeah.
Because I kind of thought I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
And I just did that, where I was focusing on like, the spiritual temperature versus your works.
Yeah, I feel guilty about not going to church because I'm disappointing. Jesus wants something from me.
No. What he's saying is that the more self-reliant you are, the more barren your works are. Like the less useful you are to God's kingdom. Yeah. And then you can go back to like, well, what is useful to God's kingdom? Well, I'll let you figure that out.
Yes.
But like,
well, let's keep going then, because verse 16. So because you're lukewarm, because you're living the self-reliant, comfortable, great for you life that means nothing to anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. That's concerning. What is he saying there?
Vomit you out of, like, spit you out also goes back to the whole vomit. Again, we were talking about the water and how, you would throw up, vomit, because of the water not being useful.
Yeah.
So he is alluding to that, and it's not that, actually, can you unpack that a little bit more, Jesse? I feel like you probably have the words.
Yep.
That can unpack that part better.
So I think this is another one of those passages of scripture.
It's just hard.
interpreted faithfully because we automatically think like salvation.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
is he saying you can lose your salvation?
No,
So
no.
let's just hang on here, okay?
It's not that.
But I don't want to be spit out of Jesus's mouth. Like we know that, right? All right. So verse 17, you say, I am rich, I've acquired wealth, and I don't need a thing. There it is, right? There's your self-reliance, right? But you do not realize that you're wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Isn't that interesting? It's ironic that you can live a really satisfied life, but in reality, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. And so here's what he says. He goes, I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire.
There are a couple of different things here that are just amazing. Okay, again, I'm a huge contrast girl. So when, again, to me, the contrasts form pictures in my head, and then what they do is they help me go out and like live my life, hopefully in a way that's pleasing to Jesus. Okay, so that's what is happening here. So go back to, okay, you say I'm rich, I have acquired wealth. Okay, so they think they're rich, right?
By a lot of standards,
by a lot of standards. But Jesus says, you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Okay, let's go back to like their situation, right? The contrast here is this. They're known for their banking, okay? Wealth. Yet Jesus calls them wretched, pitiful, and poor. They're also known for their medical school. But as you talked about earlier, the medical school, they had the treatment for ears and eye salve. That word, eye salve. Anyways, yet Jesus calls them blind. So they've got, again, we're talking again, that contrast between what's real, what's visible, like my eye, I need to put something on it to heal it. But what is the invisible quality that Jesus is calling out? And he's calling them blind, even though they're probably one of the only areas that has that solve, right? Then they're known for their textile industry. The fertile ground around that area, we didn't talk about this earlier, but that ground actually was really good for grazing sheep. And they actually they had bred this like sheep that had black wool. And so that black wool was also something that they used to create wealth, like they would sell it. But Jesus calls them naked. So all these things that they're alluding to that they think are good things. Medical is good, their textile industry, good things, banking, good things. But the contrast is Jesus like, those things are not what's good in my kingdom.
Because Jesus has a purpose for our lives that go beyond ourselves, that go beyond what we can acquire, that go beyond our comfort, that really should be spent for the sake of others.
Not for yourself.
And that's where there's richness, right? When we love Jesus in the way that he calls us to, greater love has no man than what? To lay down his life for his friends.
Exactly.
Right? This is the model. This is the
helping
purpose.
Other people, being there.
This is the trajectory of our lives. And yet when the more self-reliant and wealthy and comfortable we become, the more we need to realize that's a threat.
Yeah, it is. It is.
To being useful in life of Jesus. And so he says, I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire. Listen, we should be putting ourselves in places that are costly to us personally, that are costly to our calendars, costly to our bank accounts, costly to our priorities, costly to our self-reliance and self-focus, all the pressures in this very rich world that we live in.
Right.
That's what he's saying. Because if you don't put yourself in positions where he can refine you, you start to live a very comfortable and absolutely meaningless, worthless life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he's saying.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so I counsel you to buy from me so you can become rich, so you can actually become rich in an eternity kingdom perspective, right? And white clothes to wear so you can cover your shameful nakedness, salve in your eyes, so you can see all these things that you're chasing after materially. Jesus wants for those to become true for you spiritually and eternally.
And we can use those things. Do you know what I mean? Like the point isn't here calling out like, okay, like wealth is bad. That's not what he's saying.
No.
But what he's saying is like, when you have these things, don't just use them for yourself.
When you build your life and identity on them,
no, exactly.
You start to live a very worthless life.
And he's saying like that wealth that you've created, really, I counsel you to buy from me gold. So the difference is like the wealth of this world versus, counsel. Like that is such a beautiful world. He's like counseling us. And, I accept counsel from somebody I trust that's trustworthy and that like I know wants to help me. And That is Jesus. So he's counseling us even in today. Like we, as a society, as an American society, we are one of the wealthiest societies in the world, right? We don't have lack the way other countries do. I grew up in South America. My reality was going out, and I remember driving down the street with my mom, and there was always this man. My mom would be taking me to school, and my reality was we would get to this one stoplight, and there was this man that didn't have legs. And he would be sitting there, and he had some kind of contraption where he could get, I don't know how he did it, but like he'd get up on his like crutches, and he had his little boy with him, and they would wash our windshields, and we would always give them money. I mean, so that's the reality of like the poverty that's out there that we don't really experience here. And God is calling us and saying, you know what? Buy from me what I want to give you. Yeah.
You get to live your life in a very different direction.
Right.
And if we don't, we're gonna discover that we're actually in the middle of acquiring wealth. We're gonna live
That
one of the
doesn't matter.
poorest lives we possibly can.
Exactly.
It's a challenging kind of concept.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
It
is.
is.
But it's
It
something
is.
that, I think the church in Laodicea probably looks the most like the church in America today, because it's the same reasons. It's the same pressures.
Well, I would say like for me, like my biggest sin I've always told people is self-reliance. And it's not that this is how I describe it. It's not that I don't believe in Jesus. I believe in him deeply. My problem is this: I forget that he's here, that he's present with me, that he's real. I forget to call on him, and I forget to everything that I'm doing, that it's for him. I just think, I go into this problem solving mode, and it's all I'm going to solve it, and then when I do solve it, it's all for me, not for his kingdom.
We've given you a lot to kind of chew on in your groups, and I hope you do. I hope you do. This is one that we need to be kind of, if there was one that we really probably need to be hit square in the forehead with, it's this one. Hope you have a good discussion. Hey, we're going to close down not only our final week of this, but we're closing down our series. And verse 19, it's not one of those feel-good verses. It's a verse that we need to hear, because I think we need to have a category for this, okay? So here's what Jesus says. He goes, those whom I love, and now this is Jesus, okay? Right. So those whom I love, he's come to earth from heaven, he's healed, he's fed, he's preached, he's raised from the dead, he's given his life for them, right? So this is who Jesus is, but here's what he says. Those whom I love, I do all those things, and I also rebuke and discipline, okay? This is a category that for a lot of us, it's a tough one. Because why? Because we have not been rebuked and disciplined out of love.
Right.
A lot of times.
No.
A lot of times we've been rebuked in a way that was abusive or unloving in some kind of way. What Jesus is saying here is, because he loves us, he'll discipline us. Because he loves us, when we build these self-reliant, self-focused, comfortable for me first kind of lives, he loves us too much to allow us to continue to build that kind of life. And so we should not be surprised or feel resentful or feel like he doesn't love us when he rebukes us for that. And we need this rebuke, my friends. We do, because he has a use for us. He has a purpose for our lives, and it's going to go beyond us. He's entrusted us with so many things that he wants us to leverage for the sake of one another and for the sake of the world that he's planted us in. So that's a lesson from Laodicea that we just probably need to chew on this week as we move out from this series. Hey, I want to say a couple things as we close. First of all, thank you guys once again for journeying with us all the way through. I hope it was helpful. We had a lot of fun. I want to say thanks to you, Cece. Thank you so much for not just joining me around this table, but for the service you continue to provide, the leadership you continue to provide at our Cedar Falls campus and now across Prairie Lakes. We're really grateful.
Well, again, thanks for the opportunity. I love doing this. I love being a part of it. I love Prairie Lakes.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is, we love Prairie Lakes.
Yeah.
So.
Me too. Yeah. Hey, once again, my friends, thanks for joining us. Here we are, right knocking on the door of spring. You did a great job walking through all of this, and it's been super fun to have you along. And hope you have a great week.